More on this story, we can go across to the courthouse and speak to France 24's Claire Paccalin standing by. Claire, what's likely to happen today?
Well, as you can see, Delano, there's a group of reporters standing just behind me waiting for Nicolas Sarkozy to arrive. We do expect him to arrive any minute now and enter the courtroom. But we are also expecting this hearing to be postponed today. And that is because two of the lawyers representing one of the key defendants, Jérôme Lavilleroux, have both been diagnosed with COVID. One of them is in hospital. And Jérôme Lavilleroux really is a key defendant in this case because he was the one who went on French television back in 2014 and basically owned up. He's said that as a deputy campaign director, there was massive overspending in Nicolas Sarkozy's 2012 election campaign, and that the firm, Big Malion, an events firm responsible for organizing the election rallies, well, they falsified receipts in order to cover up for that massive overspending. So clearly, he needs to be represented in the courtroom. And if both of his lawyers have COVID, he's not going to get that representation. So it would be very surprising if this hearing were to go ahead today. We do expect it to open in the next 20 minutes or so. The lawyers, there are 14 defendants altogether. The lawyers will make their case saying, we think that this hearing needs to be rescheduled. The judges will deliberate and make a decision.
Claire, do all these legal entanglements spell the end for Nicolas Sarkozy's political future here in France?
Never say never, but Nicolas Sarkozy's political future here in France certainly looks very, very difficult now. He does have a loyal base of supporters among young people as well in his Les Républicains party. But that conviction that we saw a couple of weeks ago, corruption and influence peddling, he was accused or found guilty of having tried to corrupt a judge to find out more about an investigation into his party's finances. He's appealing that conviction, and he denies the accusations of corruption and influence peddling. But also what's interesting to note is that in this particular case, the prosecutors are actually more confident than they were in the previous case that they're going to get a conviction. They got that conviction, but in this case, they feel that they've got more of a clear-cut case. The massive overspending did take place. It's worth noting that here in France, election campaigns are capped when it comes to spending so that it's fair, so that all election campaigns actually don't spend way more than each other. There's a cap. The accusation is that Nicolas Sarkozy's campaign went 18 million euros over that cap. Receipts were falsified in order to cover that up. And what the prosecutors are going to be arguing is that there's just no way that Sarkozy, as the head of that campaign, it was in his name, could not have known that the massive overspending was taking place. He is responsible for his own campaign. Of course, he's going to argue, and his lawyers are going to argue as well, that he was running for president at the time. He had other things on his mind, and he was not aware of the overspending. So that's what we're expecting him to argue. He, of course, denies the charges of illegal campaign financing, which are leveled against him in this case.
Claire, thank you very much for that. Claire Paccalin reporting there from the courthouse.